there's like the three pillars of like there's surrogacy, adoption,
right?
There's straight marriage, right?
Hold on. I need to go get. I have to check my chickens. Hold on.
What the fuck, guys? This is what it's actually like recording with Gavin. He has to check his fucking chickens. And this is Gaytriarchs. So, Gavin.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain yourself?
Oh, geez. What did I do this time?
Our Instagram story? You want to explain to the listener what you did?
No, I don't. I don't want to discuss this.
So, listener, if you follow our Instagram account,
which
you maybe
better.
Saw Gavin. Yeah, you better. You maybe saw Gavin post our little infographic for last week's episode, which was just us. And Gavin thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny to be just us dummies? Just us dummies. Gavin, you want to tell him how you spelled dummies?
I am not a professional proofreader, okay? This is a burden. Social media drives me nuts anyway. Okay, cutting to the chase.
Spell it how you spelled it.
Dumbies.
Dumbies. So I texted Gavin. I said, did you do that like ironically? Because it was like clever that like a dummy would spell dumbie. And he kind of like ... yes ? To me. And that's when I knew I was dealing with a full-time genius here.
I used to pride myself on my spelling abilities, and yes, I won.
You did say you won a spelling bee once.
I won the Green Mountain Elementary School spelling bee of 1988, and spelling has evolved a lot since then. But I think that at one point in world history, you used to spell dummies with a B in the middle of it. Which, come on, why is the stupid B there anyway? Whatever. It's fine. If you feel good about yourself, David, opening this episode, mocking my quick attempt at just being careless, I hope you feel good about it.
Listener, if you are an expert in history, I would like you to research the spelling of the word dumb and dummy, because I believe it came from like a doll. Like a dummy was a doll, not a dumbie. But anyway, I just wanted to start the episode where I feel most comfortable.
Well,
anyway.
Let me wipe the egg off my face. I'm really great, David. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So I did have a hilarious conversation this morning before getting in the car and driving to school, during which I kept my mouth shut the entire time.
Wow, proud of you.
I've made it, well, I would say a week since we last recorded this, but really we're recording this just a couple days after I pledged that I wouldn't make noise in the morning. But nevertheless, I did it. But before getting in the car, out of nowhere, my daughter says, there was one time that we drove to Target and I didn't have my seatbelt on and I was so scared I was going to get in trouble. And I was scared the entire time, but I went ahead and rode without it anyway. And I thought, wait, when was this? She said, years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago. And I thought to myself, I am certain it's that interior life that our kids live that we don't know about is so fascinating to think about. 1, 2, they remember things so differently than we do. I swear to you, David, I may not know how to spell dummies, but I know how to attach a seatbelt. And I cannot imagine of course, there was a time that we transitioned to her putting her own seatbelt on and she didn't do it one time and I just drove away because I was so excited to get to Target. Anyway, kids remember things in funny ways, in
funny ways as in like they remember it in a way that's not true?
Yeah, in some case. Now, listen, I don't think that she's lying about this. I'm sure that she did go to Target without her seatbelt on. But I love it when they do remember things or they remember the details that we completely skip over. Or it's almost like they're living in dog years and things are just so profound to them. But I love being able to listen to them tell us their memories and in ways that we don't remember them at all,
I guess I'm just in a different phase because my kids will only remember shit that I don't want them to remember.
Yeah,
they're not creating false memories. They're like, remember when you snuck a chocolate bar and I caught you and you said if I would keep my mouth shut, I could eat the other half of the chocolate bar? And he'll like say that. I'm like, why don't you shut your fucking mouth, you little
Or
Like, yeah.
Or the time that my son reminds me that he doesn't like to eat broccoli because there was that one time 10 years ago where I fed him the soy sauce soaked broccoli.
Yep.
He barfed and
Yep.
and I said, you will eat that broccoli because you're just having a mental reaction to it. And he will not let that go. And you know what? He shouldn't.
Gavin, that story is epic on Gaytriarchs. You have told that story before, and that lives in my memory. Like I remember that story.
It's a core,
but
it's awful.
But to me, right now, it's like because my parents do this, right? They'll be like, "Remember that time you blank?" And I'm like, "That never happened." You just my mom the other day said to me, she goes, "Remember when you conducted that 100-piece orchestra, blah, 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 blah?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "It was in Tampa. You conducted that symphony. There was 100 pieces." I said, "Do you mean when I was on tour and we were doing sound check and I got to conduct the opening number of our traveling, the overture of our show to the 14 pieces orchestra?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah, that's what I meant." She has now rewritten that as so she will tell her friends even now. She will, right? But like my kids are not. They're on the opposite side of that. They will remember shit that I don't want them to remember. That is true. That I'm trying. They don't understand that. Like you tend to be like, "Oh, remember that time you looked at the scale and it was so big that you like moved the scale a little bit at the part of the floor where it gives you a better weight." I'm like, I don't want you to remember that. That's not a part
they have
I want you to remember.
Treasure chest of shit they're going to pull out against us. They're not just saving it for the therapist that they're obviously going to earn by the time they're adults, or old enough to go to therapy, but they are definitely using it as their armament against us. And just embarrass us, which is, I suppose, their job. But I love that there's the misinformation coming from both above your generation and below your generation, but not ours, because we are nothing but truth facts.
We're truth tellers. Yeah, we're truth tellers.
We are here to tell the truth. But adjacent to that, you and I, unrelated to parenting and yet entirely related to parenting, you and I had a brief discussion yesterday about the audacity that we had when we were young. And I did say to you, how much of that was audacity and how much was delusion? And you have to think we should all be living life with the audacity of a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old who just thinks, why the fuck can't I do X, Y, and Z? I mean, wouldn't we all be our best selves if we had a little more audacity? And yet, what if it's delusion?
I want to tell you that, though, as a gay man, we are at the top of both of those. Like the audacity of a man and the delusion of a gay person. Like, it doesn't get any more extreme.
Audacious or deluded.
Oh my God, so much. But yeah, we were talking and I was thinking, when I was in my 20s, I had all the delusion and a little bit audacity, but mostly delusion. I was like, yeah, I could be on Broadway. Yeah, I could do this. Why not? Why not me? Why can't I run a Fortune 500 company? Who cares? Right. And then now at 40, I have less of the delusion, but more of the audacity. I'm like, I'll fucking yell at you. I'll yell at a stranger's child in a second. I am audacious like that. But it is an interesting mix because you do have to have both in your life to succeed. Yeah. Because we know that like a lot of what's stopping you is just your ability to just try it, because we're so sensitive to like, well, I shouldn't or I can't. But you actually can, but we're all a little sensitive to failing.
Yeah, and the imposter syndrome, the worry that we can't or don't belong there or shouldn't be there. But that's where our maleness takes over, of having the audacity to think that we can do anything. But I recently heard, I saw a TikTok recently of somebody who used to live in Europe and he came back. And he actually was giving some fabulous gay vibes. And he said, you know, in this world where a lot of people are moving to overseas, let me tell you why I came back to the United States. And mainly, it's about audacity, because it is such a uniquely American trait. And now we as American parents are hopefully, I think, passing on the super skill to our kids, where it's like, yes, dream big and just go do it. Just go do it, girl, boy. Well, universally girl.
It's been
and just that the Europeans, they have much more a sense of hierarchical place that they're born into that they can't override. Whereas Americans really are like, no, this is the land of opportunity. And even though I have plenty of arguments against that an awful lot of the time, there is a mentality of audaciousness that not just Barack Obama could have written a book about, you know?
try to instill, I agree. And I try to instill that in my kids. I try to be, and the way I do it is like, use your words. I always say like, your words are more powerful than anything else you have.
Nice.
So I try to encourage even like the simplest ways of like, when the waitress comes to the table, I make my kids at 3, at 3 order, even if they're like shy or weird, I force them to do it because the lesson I've learned, and I'm sure you've learned in life, is like, it's like every apparel company has used this. It's like, just do it.
Use your voice.
All that kind of stuff, right? Like, because it's true, right? Like it's just asking, you shall receive. And we're always so afraid of asking because we've already fast forwarded to the part where we're denied the thing. But I think about all the times I've given something to someone because they just fucking asked for it. Like, listen, reach out to me on Grindr. It's probably a yes, if I'm being totally honest. But like, no, it's true. And so I try to do that with my kids. I'm like, ask for help. Ask for the things you want. Use your words. When somebody doesn't give you what you want, try a new way of asking. And it's mostly falls on deaf ears. But I do notice that like my kids can order in a restaurant.
You know what?
Yeah.
Along those lines, something that I do that is absolutely Gen X of me is that when my kids want to reach out to friends, parents or something, and either the kid doesn't have a phone or even before my kids had phones, and I showed that I don't love them enough to keep phones away from them, obviously, but I would hand my phone to them to say, you need to call the parent and ask to talk to the kid. And they're like, what? And I think these are lost skills that they don't have to do anymore. And it's something that they should be able to do is call a not stranger, but a friend's parents and say, hi, can I talk to Niall? Or hi, can I talk to Adrian? And it's a little bizarre, but whenever the parents notice it, they're like, that's a really good idea to make your kid do that. And so use your words, right? Use your words and lean in.
It's so true. Yeah, it's so true. It's a good reminder for all of us. I don't know why we're talking about serious stuff on this stupid fucking show, but it's so true as far as like being parents and trying to encourage your kids, because I just feel like life belongs to the people who ask for things, who are ambitious and delusional enough to just fucking do it.
And audacious. Lean into the audacity.
We certainly do.
And speaking of words, it is Pride Month. Happy Pride!
Oh my God, what a month of chaos.
Rainbows all over the place. The shitting rainbows, barfing rainbows, all the things. But you came up with a really good idea the other day of saying, let's try to have somewhat of let's pretend that we're organized, LOL, and that we're going to have some themes to Pride. And we were thinking about what are the 4 pillars of Pride. What do you think of as the 4 pillars of Pride, David?
Lube, jock, spit, choke.
Excellent. That is basically what I came up with as well. But you are being delusional right now and thinking that our audience is going to believe that you put some thought into that before just now.
But wait, before you get to that, tell them how we came up with this. We met in person yesterday in front of the New York Public Library.
We actually reminded ourselves of human contact, yes.
Your 2 favorite co-hosts of your least favorite podcast, Gaytriarchs, finally met in person. Yep. I mean, listen, we've seen each other in person a lot, but it's been a little while, and it was so fun to have like a little planning meeting for the year and just like see each other and remind myself, guys, Gavin, hot. David, great body, tall, good looking, good hair. If you are interested in sleeping with like a fine, almost 50-year-old man, he is the one to reach out to.
Definitely already 50. That's for sure.
That's right. That's right.
No, but we actually reached out and touched each other and held each other's biceps for a bit of time. So while we were there, it was lovely. We were pretending to be organized. It was a retreat, technically speaking. It lasted an hour, which I think is no meeting should ever take more than an hour, just like no podcast should take more than 15 minutes, frankly. Whoops, already broke that. But we thought about...
And by the way, for consistency, Gavin was an hour late and had to buy me a tea as an apology. He started the meeting apologizing.
And it was $5. No. That chamomile, I hope that really did something good for your IBS. So we did think about the 4 pillars of Pride, though, as freedom, truth, beauty, love. And if any of you out there are musical theater queens, which we know you are, listener, you might recognize those 4 words coming from Moulin Rouge, both the movie and the musical, as the pillars of what art should be about, as freedom, truth, beauty, and love. And so... not to actually get out over our skis, we of course do not actually have an interview based upon all 4 of these, but hopefully we'll have one for at least 3 of them. But today we just want to briefly touch about freedom because holy shit, let's keep this light and airy, shall we, David? But
really light,
yeah,
really airy.
But freedom at Pride Month. What does that mean to you, David? Besides choke, lube, spit, and jock.
I mean,
actually, that is the pinnacle of freedom, right there. Is that you get to? Is what your pride is?
Yes. When I look at these, I'm like, these are all the same. It's all kind of speaking to the same thing. But for me, like the freedom part of it is more of the practical, legal kind of things. It's not necessarily the cultural things. It's like, am I legally allowed to marry a man? Am I legally allowed to adopt a child? Am I legally allowed to travel, have my passport gender markers changed? Right. Am I the kind of like the laws and everything? And I think there was a momentum through Obama that felt really great and things were changing. And then something happened in 2016. I'm not really sure what it was.
Yes.
But a lot of things have changed and a lot of things are in flux. And you talked about people leaving the country. And so freedom, I think, is particular. I mean, all of these are important, but freedom is one of those things where I think we got really passively, we were very content with the freedom we were getting, and we felt very secure in that in the United States. And then that has now been upended. So I think it's a reminder that pride obviously is a riot, and we should fight for what we want.
Remember
but
that.
One of those things is the practical aspect of like, we need the freedom to get married and to travel to different states and to adopt and raise children and to have our gender identity correctly recognized and all that kind of stuff, and be able to shit in toilets of the bathroom we want to shit in. Isn't that crazy that those are the arguments we're having?
These are the things
like, oh, really, you can't shit in here. You got a pussy. It's like, oh, guys, we're talking about shit.
Yeah. Is this the land of opportunity? Sometimes you might want to argue with it a little bit, despite the audacity and delusion that it makes Americanism really, really great. But yeah, so to remember when we chatted with Peter Lindner, who is one of the main volunteer coordinators of the Pride March, and when we kept calling it the Pride Parade, I'm sure it was you who said that over and over again. He very diplomatically reminded us, no, it is a march. Do not forget this is a march. And a few years ago when we were talking to Peter, it seemed like it was easy to slip into parade mode, but let's face it is a march to maintain the rights that have been acquired over the last couple of years. So to bring it really down, but in a really light voice of happiness and optimism, the thing I want to make everybody aware of in terms of freedom, and rather the revoking of freedom, is that there's a new organization out there. I mean, I knew this year that you might not have heard of, called Greater Than, and they utterly hijack the colors, the branding of HRC to turn the equal sign into a greater than sign. And real quick from their press release from January 27th of 2026, a coalition of 47 anti-LGBTQ organizations launched this campaign to end marriage equality. And their goal is to overturn Obergefell versus Hodges, which we all know from 2015. And furthermore, they're reframing everything as basically children's rights and making sure that the children have freedom from stuff like the gay agenda. And I mean, this is the levels of Project 2025 off the hook. And so just know that freedom is not free, and we have to keep fighting for it all the time, especially in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, be free. Be free to be who you want to be. We've been listening to a lot of Lady Gaga today because I'm trying to indoctrinate my children.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun because, those songs can be a little silly, a little like tweet at a rave.
Mocking
right?
Gaga. She's fantastic.
But when you really get down to it, they're probably better than the songs are more powerful because of this weight that they carry and how they're like played at Pride and everything like that. And honestly, Lady Gaga, aka Stephanie, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help in making us freer and to being unapologetically an ally, because she's been amazing for us.
How about the original mother, though? Even Gaga's mother as Madonna, and her collab right now with, what's her name? Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
long time Madonna.
But Madonna since day one has been
Since day one.
one of those like gay ally,
Right.
just like she's like, I love the gays.
Of course, but that song is stupid. I'm not going to lie. So way to end it on a profound note of freedom. But you know what? Madonna, have the freedom to make whatever song you want with whatever teenage pop star you want to collab with. And there you go.
Editing this episode.
So I have a dad hack of the week. All right.
Yeah.
So summer is kind of beginning. Some of you might already be. Listener, I don't know if you're in summertime or not, and even if you have kids or not, or even if you are a man, woman, or other. At point being, it is basically summertime, and we watch an embarrassing amount of movies in the summertime here. And it's always a battle of who gets to choose and whatnot. And I want to go beyond just watching the same old animated movie that my kids want to watch on repeat. Either my daughter wants to watch some vapid thing about, Mean Girls, basically, and my son wants to watch, I don't know, Madagascar 2 over and over again. So we need to move beyond that. So here's a hack. The New York Times has a new culture section, I think from their magazine. Does the magazine exist anymore? Called How to Be Cultured or something like that. It's linked right there, but I'm not going to open it right now. And they have some listings of like the top 11, it's random, best performances in movies. And they're all family friendly. Like, go back and watch The Wizard of Oz through the perspective of that The Wicked Witch of the West is just a pivotal performance in American film history and whatnot. And it's just a good cheat into, let's look at these epic performances or go through these other lists of how to be cultural and force feed some culture upon your kids. If you are just looking for some inspo, there you go. How to be cultural. And that is from the corner of Gavin being pretentious and insufferably what?
Dummy. No, that's your favorite quarter to spend time in. But also, can I just tell you that it's so helpful as a parent to have a list of something that you can refer to? It doesn't matter what it is. Like, here's a list of ways to go to bed. Just fucking give me a list. That's all I need. Yes. Is there any good news this week?
Zero. Done.
Oh,
literally couldn't find anything. There's nothing.
No freedom.
There's
no freedom.
Freedom's being dismantled all over the place. I have no good news of the week. But I do want to come to you for some advice, okay? David, I can't believe it. You know that I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel when I come to you for advice. But really, it's the listener. Hi, listener. Let's talk for real again. So I am thinking, in my constant battle for controlling the social media consumption of my kids, I am contemplating taking off the limits from my daughter's phone. Now, she claims, although I've done some research, she claims that nobody else has limits on their phones except for her, which we all know is bullshit. But I do feel like it's such a negotiating tactic that I might be able to get some more of what I want. Because let's face it, she is in high school. I should probably stop being such a control freak, right? Which means engendering self-control. So I'm contemplating taking off the phone limits, but with this caveat. So basically, there are still limits. One, she doesn't get to sleep with the phone in her room anymore. Now, she does right now, and I know that's the number one rule that all child psychologists out there say. And I've said it many times. And that guy
who came on, the IT guy.
Yep. Yeah. Don't let him sleep. But I do know
So you didn't listen to that interview, did you, Gabe?
Not at all.
You didn't even listen to your own interview.
I have their phones turned off via my phone so that they cannot basically it goes to sleep when they're asleep. And I have never once, I don't think that that's ever been questioned. I've even checked it in the middle of the night and I see that the limits are on. So I still like the principle though, that they should not have it in the room at all, obviously. Two, especially during the summertime, she has to put it down for 4 hours a day. And by put it down, I mean in a lockbox. So she can't just have that nagging feeling of, well, let me just check it real quick. 4 hours might be ambitious. Maybe we can compromise at 3. But 3 hours where you walk away and you get bored, because that's what you're supposed to do and nobody gets bored anymore, right? And during the school year, it would be 2 hours a day at least, where she puts it in a place that I control it and she can't get to it at all. And then also her own self-imposed time limits. She sets her own app limits, right? Now I know that she will just ignore them, but at least it's a visual and, I don't know, vibrating trigger on the phone to say, hey, you've already been on TikTok for 45 minutes. You should put the phone down. Anyway, what do you think?
What would you do?
You just played the song, right? What would you do? David and listener, is this a really stupid move, or how would you do it?
Wow. A really straightforward question. Thank you for that. I'm speaking from the place that we talked about the other day, where like it's like when a non-parent gives you parenting advice.
Yep.
Here's a parent of a 6 and 4-year-old giving you iPhone.
Yeah.
Because like my kids, you know what I mean? They're obsessed with the phones, but whatever. Listen, I think kids don't have the capacity yet to understand that limits and reduction of this exciting thing is good for them. Yeah. These things are also wildly powerful.
Yeah.
My what would you do is you have to force all the limits. You cannot leave anything up to them, because if I'm her age and I'm there, I'm on Grindr all day. I want to see where everyone is. Oh, he's 1,100 feet away. Yeah, but there's 2 bottoms over here who are closer. Like I would spend all my time doing it. And I'm sure they're smarter than you, so they're going to figure out ways around it. Mm-hmm. I think no phones in rooms. I think that kind of stuff, like as soon as you go, no phones in, was it he said rooms or bedrooms or bathrooms?
Bedrooms or bathrooms, yeah, that's right.
No phones allowed in there ever for any reason, I think should be a hard limit. Mm-hmm. I think the idea of like, well, they're getting older, they should learn to do it themselves. I don't think they're going to be, I don't think that's possible.
That prefrontal cortex is not,
it's not
formed
there
until
yet,
25, right?
Yeah, and I think instead of giving limits, I think you give windows. So I think instead of saying, oh, we're going to limit to 2 or 4, I think you say you don't get phones ever in bedrooms or bathrooms, and you get your phone from 2 to 4 p.m. every day. So you give them the windows they can do things, not the ones they can't. It's coming that way. David, it's coming from a positive place.
You are not.
Did I do good?
You are not just a pretty face.
I'm a pretty face. I just want to be a pretty face.
But you're not just that. You have the audacity and delusion to think that you know what you're talking about. But I agree with it, because I don't fucking know what I'm talking about at all. Let me make the quick discllaimer.
None of us do.
I still have age restrictions on the kids, though, so that theoretically they aren't looking at porn. Theoretically, but also, come on, 15-year-olds, come on.
Yes, I mean, the content I think is important, but to me, it's like what you're really getting at, which is like, I don't want them to constantly develop a reliance on these little dopamine hits of the Candy Crush of the.
I think that's more important than the content of what they're looking at. I agree with you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
agree more aggressively than you agree.
I agree more than you agree with me agreeing with you. No, but so giving them windows. This is also reminds me of, I remember one time calling into another podcast and they aired my response, but somebody was talking about like their husband likes to gamble and they don't, and they were like we're fighting about it, and like I'm thinking about like, you're not allowed to gamble at these times, like giving him windows or whatever, so like we can have family time or whatever the thing was. And my advice was, do it the other way. Be like, here's when it would be great for you to gamble on Tuesdays when I'm out of town, gamble like, and so just, it's the same, right? You're saying the same thing, but you're coming at it from a positive place. So I think with your kids, again, I'm
you don't know shit
without kids with phones. I don't know shit, but I think hard limit, no bedrooms, bathrooms, and also you get your phone in the summer between these 2 times. There is no negotiating, especially when you're bored and mad at me, right? Because that's going to happen, right? They're like, I've already been outside. My kids are already doing that, and we have this giant, beautiful yard and a little play dome.
But there's nothing to do.
I'm bored.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do. So that's my what would you do?
What would you do?
Hey, I might do what you did to say.
Nope, I'm not editing this. We're keeping it.
Is
this thing hold open? I don't
know. Well, you know what also can't be edited? Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
So this is my list this week. These are the top 3 toys that you disappear. That means before your kids even see them, they are out of your fucking house for whatever reason. So for me, number 3 is a little selfish, but I guess all of these are selfish. Number 3, a toy that I can easily regift. If it is a toy that I could easily give to the 17 fucking birthday parties I have next weekend at the same 3 places in my town, It's going upstairs. The kid's not going to see
Good
it.
call.
Number 2, I cannot imagine this would not be a crossover. Any sort of slime or dollar store Play-Doh. If you are a parent of a child who can get slime, you realize that all slime is terrible. It gets in the carpet. It stains wood. It
gets on the cat
worst thing in the world.
Try to get slime out of a cat without coming away with very bloodied arms.
Exactly.
Those gay animals.
Those gay animals. So slime / dollar store Play-Doh, which, listen, we all put in the gift bags for our kids' birthday parties. We all do the same shit. Don't do it anymore, okay? And the number one thing that I will disappear in a heartbeat, any toy that requires me. Any like game that like father and son can play it. Just play with your dad. Use your adult to make this science experiment. Oh, a science experiment, kid, that I need to be part of? No. Gone. Going upstairs. Leaving it.
Well, I didn't interpret this in exactly the same way because I wasn't listening to you, because why would I? But I did hear top 3 toys you disappear, but I didn't catch before they're even opened, okay? But I don't think I'll be disappointed.
No.
My one crossover here is actually number 3, party favors. Those little party favor bags that come home with just a bunch of tchotchkes and unnecessary candy and little tiny toys.
Throw it away.
I do. And it feels so good to just make those things disappear. And when the kids say, where did it go? I'm like, well, maybe you should learn to clean your room, huh?
Yeah. You gaslight your children. Exactly.
Number 2, mini kitchens. We had one of those little kitchens that sat outside our kitchen for a good 18 months. And I would say that collectively over those 18 months, my children played with it for about 18 minutes. Maybe.
We have one as well, and it's never used.
So that kitchen got disappeared, and my children still talk about it. In fact, non-listener but dear friend Brian Markham, I gave it to his son. And whenever I occasionally mention Brian, and they're like, who's Brian? I'm like, he had a kid named Felix. And they're like, oh, the one who got the kitchen? I'm like, you don't know about that. What are you talking about? But
speaking of their memory, right? They remember that. They remember the broccoli incident of 2022, and they remember the kitchen. They remember Felix with the kitchen.
And number 1, the thing that I disappeared and just went away in the middle of the night, and they kept asking about it for a really long time, our train table. I know I've talked about this before, but we used to have this train table set up when my kids were completely obsessed with Thomas the Train, which, by the way, does Thomas the Train even exist anymore? God, that's probably dating me, huh? And another friend of mine said, it kind of constrains their creativity. I mean, how very woke and gentle parenting was that it's restraining their creativity, but it did, because, they were restrained to 4 feet by 3 feet. And so I made the table disappear in the middle of the night, and suddenly I think their setups were actually much more creative when they weren't constrained by that. So I disappeared that constraint so that their creativity could flourish. And they often did say, where did that train table go? And I'm like, it's still being fixed. Anyway.
It's in the farm in the sky where their cats went and their dogs went. Yeah. All right. What's next week's list?
I haven't thought that far in advance. I was prepared with my top 3 list, but I wasn't prepared with the topic. Hold on.
All right. Well, it'll be a mystery for you, listener. It'll be a mystery for you. Next week we will have a mystery top 3 list, which you don't know now, but I am not willing to edit this part out. So we are going to keep it as a mystery.
But you come with your 3 answers for your mystery, and I'll come with my 3 answers for my mystery, related to gay parenting in some way, okay?
No. Okay, see you next week. So my something great this week is my friends. My friends they work in the construction business, and they do renovations, and my friend is a contractor he currently works on This Old House. He's the head carpenter on This Old House. Well, him and his wife came out with their own show, and it is now on Roku, and it's very exciting. It's called This First House, and it is their own show, and it is it's follows like first time home buyers throughout the home buying process. So it sounds familiar, but their kind of whole point of view is that this is the real version, right? They're not going to be like, oh, well, this bathroom costs $5,000 to renovate. They're like, no, it cost $50,000. And here's what actually happened. So my friend, why are you smiling at me weird?
Because I'm just waiting for the moment that you say, and they were our guests in episode 131 or 139 or something. But I mean, we know, listener knows these
All right,
people.
I'm starting over. I'm going to start this over.
No. And you're not editing this either.
Oh,
okay?
God damn it. I don't use my own powers against me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway,
Well,
it doesn't matter. It's still, the reason I bring it up is because it's now out. It just came out a couple weeks ago. All the episodes are streaming on Roku, which, did you know that was a channel? Like that, Roku was always to me the device to get to the channels.
Yeah, exactly.
Roku has its own whole network of shows. Anyway, it's called This First House, hosted by my friends and friends of the show, Zach and Camille Detmore. Please go watch it. Watch it many times. Get those numbers up so they can make all the money and buy me presents.
And become like big sponsors, corporate sponsors of Gaytriarchs, so that we can continue to give you this mediocre content that we normally give you. Well, my something great this week is something that I came across on social media because I have no limits on my phone. And there was a transgender reveal party that took place in the New York City subway. And the F and M trains swapped routes between Manhattan and Queens on back in December. But I just now saw the Instagram about it, where there was a transgender reveal party where people were living their fabulous trans life, where they had F to M and M to F switches, and that very famous trans woman whose name escapes me right now, who's the voice of the subway, was actually there. And you can imagine the drag show that took place and all of the reveals from F train themes to M train themes and vice versa. It was just a celebration of creativity when the internet wins and when people get to express themselves. Talk about a pillar of pride, the freedom to go down there and express your support for the trains reveal gender party in the subway.
Say what you will about New York City. We can celebrate anything. We can pop off a party about anything, and they all come. That sounds amazing.
And that is our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge on M to F.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll celebrate freedom with you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.